All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of Dockside at the Bay. I am Vinnie, along with Kim, as always. Kim, how are you today?
Doing all right, Vinny. Battling just a little allergy kind of flare up, but hoping my voice holds on for our discussion tonight about this episode. Because, man, if it wasn't a good episode, full of
It really was. I completely agree with you. But before we do, I do want to go over and go over some programming. Obviously, tonight is Thursday, the 23rd of April. We are live here talking all about The Bay, Emmy Award-winning The Bay, Season 8, Episode number 5. But before we get there, I do want to let everybody know that we are past WrestleMania. If you didn't catch it, my WrestleMania post shows, as well as Freestyling on Real American Freestyle from this past weekend, are up in the archives. Check them out. Also, do want to go over and give a huge congratulations to Jennifer Warrego, who is the initial winner of our Suds and Squared Circle Media t-shirt contest for the month of March, who won a shirt of the logo of her choosing, and she chose the new Vinnie Suds t-shirt. So check that out. That is available on our merch shop, which is suds-media.myspreadshop.com. So congratulations, Jennifer. And she won that. She won that by sending us a super chat during Suds News episode last month. And you can win too. Just go ahead and send us a super chat, super thanks, or a super sticker, and on our YouTube channel. And no matter what the denomination is that you want to help support the network, and you get entered to win. And as many supers as you want, those are as many entries as you can get every month for the year of 2026. All right, so we are about to get ready. A little bit more programming news. Next weekend, I am going over to Florida for the Samantha's Friends event. I am going to be talking with quite a number of members of the Bay, including the creator of the Bay, Gregory Martin, as well as Christos should be there this time. Last time that I went, he was filming, so we couldn't make it. But again, I'll see Mike Manning and many others from GH and the Bay. And
next, give them my love and tell them that I'm their spirit.
I definitely will. Just announced for the September Samantha's Friends event is Daphne Duplay and Jen Jacob from Beyond the Gate. So they will be there in September.
That's very exciting. Oh,
yes.
That's
big get. And that was thanks to Jordy, I believe. I believe thanks to Jordy Villasusa, who's
that's terrific.
Very,
very cool.
So definitely make your plans if you're gonna help support Samantha's Friends. Make your plans for the September event as well. But what that also means is that Suds News next week is going to be on Sunday night, May 3rd, because May 4th, Monday night that we normally go live, is a travel day for me. So we'll be going live on Sunday. So make sure to set your calendars and mark your days for Sunday, May 3rd, because that'll be the episode for Suds News for that week. All right. So let's get on to it. Again, we want to send our condolences and love out to the family, friends, and fans of Patrick Muldoon, who played Craig McKinnon on The Bay.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about his stint on The Bay, but it was his reign on being on our lives.
I don't think we've gotten there, have we?
I don't think so either, but I remember seeing just going.
Right.
It's like, oh, he did make an appearance, but yeah, no, from Days, that's kind of where I knew him from primarily. So,
all right, folks, we are going to get into it now, talking all about the Emmy Award-winning web series The Bay, season 8, episode 5. And what a great episode it was.
Oh, it really was. I mean, it introduced just so many new. We got new threads to follow for sure. It definitely brought in some action. I mean, we start out, we have Dre in the parking garage,
Yep.
And we have, Adam, we have Belinda, and we learn that this lawyer is, helping, facilitating this whole,
Yes.
whatever Adam is up to, he's got a contact in Bay City. And Dre's on the case, and we're already just setting up for so much stuff with that opening scene alone.
Before we get there, I want to go back to they do the, previously on the Bay recap situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to point something out, because I would have thought this was like a throwaway line at the time, but they did put it in there. And you and I both said that there's some type of a creepy energy between Adam and Belinda. And,
Yes.
She's his stepmother, and, because he made the comment when they're sitting at breakfast that day on the island, and he made the comment, he called her mom, and she said, "I am not your mother, I'm your father's wife." Or something like that. And it's like, why would they put that in the recap?
Yeah, usually when they do that, it's like, oh yeah, hey, remember this? Because this happened. We're going to touch, maybe circle back to this. So yeah, no, I made a note of that as well. Definitely kind of curious that they decided to bring that back into the fold. Because their dynamic is a little twisted and a little weird. And we don't know the full scope, but we kind of can, put two and two together a little bit. I mean, there's some tension there and some weirdness.
There is definitely some tension there, and I'm really on board to see where it goes, because kind of spoiling it a little bit, we do see that Sir Thomas Caldwell, Kensington, excuse me, his real name is Max Caldwell, so that's what we got.
Yeah.
So Sir Thomas Kensington.
Kenway.
Yes, I'm sorry, having a brain fart. I don't know. Kenway doesn't seem like a surname.
Kensington, though, that sounds more British and proper. I kind of appreciate that last name.
There's actually a brand of condiments called Sir Kensington, and seeing that I work in Whole Foods, it was on the mind. So Sir Thomas Kenway, there we go. Now we got it. He does make his arrival in Bay City. Good God, everything screwed up today. In Bay City, on this episode at the very end, and he comes up to, he's got a security guard there, the attorney's there, then there's a lady there. I thought it was like a nanny or a maid or something, but she made a very big comment saying, our boy Adam seems to keep getting into trouble or something.
Yeah, her name was Violet, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is she the grandmother, kindly looking woman who our new friend that we were introduced to, the girl on the beach?
Yes. Jazzy. Yes.
So they're folding in these characters so seamlessly again, and I really love it when they do that. Because I was like, wait a minute. I've seen her before. And then I remembered she's Jazzy's grandmother, who was looking out the door all suspiciously. But now we learned that her name is Violet. And apparently she's connected to the Kenways as well.
But the way that she said our boy almost implied to me that she's some type of mistress to Sir Kenway.
There's something cooking. They planted a lot. Like I said, they put out a lot of threads with this. They were just teasing stuff out left and right. And it's just, I love how, it's still early enough where in the season where, it's time to do this and introduce the new characters and unfold some stuff. But man, they were really just coming at you with certain, and, if you didn't remember seeing her in the previous, I mean, it's kind of funny. They show the little connection between Belinda and but they didn't show Jazzy, who obviously so she's got some connection there. She's to the big baddie in town. So there's a lot of stuff cooking, and it was definitely interesting to get all played out. And I appreciated how they had Dre get confronted by Adam, right? It wasn't like she managed to sneak away and do some research and then come back and confront him. No, they went face to face in this episode. And I love that they did that, because it just it cut out just like so much, because they could have stalled that out forever. They
Yes.
could have had her sneak away and do her little research and do all this, but no, he finds out about her as soon as, he discovers it, because he's cagey and savvy and knows his stuff and knows that he's being watched and followed, and just
Well,
it was
he made a noise, and that's what he
yeah.
heard. So
Yeah, but even so, I mean, he's on high alert, and of course
yeah.
he's shirtless. We had to have him shirtless. We had to have that tension there, because
But,
two very pretty people.
and to be completely honest with you, I really thought for a brief fleeting second, with the way that Christos was saying the dialogue, it almost made me feel like she was in on it. Like
I got that feeling too. Just
I mean,
like they knew
obviously,
each other, or there was something, because there was a moment. I agree.
the way that he said, "Are you trying to sneak up on me and give me a fright?" almost made me feel like he knew that she was going to be there or that he knew her and she was going to be there for one reason or another.
Yeah, then it turned a little antagonistic,
yes.
and she looked scared, and then you realized, okay, there isn't, she just happened to, and he just happened to hear her. But
right.
for a brief amount of time there, I did think that there was some sort of like previous relationship. He knew she was going to be there. It could have gone that way. I wouldn't have been surprised if it had, but no, the way that they parted, you could tell that like she was a little shaken up.
Yeah. And it was really well done. Like I said, I felt at the very beginning with some of the way the dialogue was that Dre was in on it, but then it obviously turned and, and he's like, I should hurt you or kill you right now. Or, what would you do?
Surprised. I mean, this is the man that like killed a guy in cold blood, without mercy, just because he was too short for his.
Yes.
So it's like he has no qualms about
just. I don't know what is.
Yeah, he has no qualms about just like just eliminating someone right off the bat. So yeah, but you could tell too. I mean, okay, the shirtless factor, the fact that they're both pretty, definite tension, definitely see something. Maybe. I mean, honestly, between him and Belinda, it's just because Christos is just like so magnetic, and every woman that like interacts with either of his characters, you wonder, are they going to go there? Are they going to have a relationship?
I mean, we've seen all that chemistry, and again, it's probably Christos, because Christos could have chemistry with a broom,
with a potted plant, if you
right, exactly. Yeah. But it's still amazing to me the way that they have how that dialogue went, and didn't kill her.
Very well written, very very taut, very well written, very well just and just the fact that it wasn't drawn out. I right. Just it would have been so easy for them to just have her sneak off and do her research and try and figure out more about him and this big drawn out thing. But no, it surprised me in a good way that they just had them immediately just, see each other. He knows that she's kind of nosing around, digging around. Yeah. I like that they just kind of cut out the middleman and just like said, nope, we're going to have these two just like see each other and see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, no, exactly. It was great. The other, kind of moving on a little bit.
Yeah.
I did like the scene with Tamra, like getting her phone back.
Yeah, Ninja Tam, Secret Agent, Shady Tam. We got a lot of, incarnations of Tam. But her getting kind of sassy with, and asking, is it legal for you to take my phone? This forensic search thing, you don't have a warrant. But then she just gets kind of, exigent circumstances. You have tampered with evidence, probable cause. He just kind of dishes it right back. It's just like, yeah, no.
And she's like just really, really nervous. Like, because again, she was under the thumb of Jensen for.
Yeah.
I mean, she might still be under the thumb of Jensen for whatever sex tape that she put out and he got, and he's willing to release it to the world. And it's like, she's still very, very nervous.
Of course. No, the poor woman has been through an absolute run when it comes to men, when it comes to trying to control her, manipulate, cause shit for her. pardon my French. Just yeah, she's been through it, and but she's still, she's got a backbone. She wasn't like, is it legal for you to even do this? Like search my phone, do all of this. Like she's not, a shrinking violet by any stretch.
Yeah.
So, but
exactly.
yeah, Tam, she's just caught up in another vicious cycle.
Yeah, well, I mean, we did see the phone call from Jensen or to Adam because Jensen told her to call.
Right.
So, it's so she basically started this entire thing by the phone call to Adam.
It's like just when she thinks that she's kind of out, they pull her back in. She gets pulled back in. She really can't get free of the, the clutches. And it's tough to see it, but at least, she's going down swinging. She's trying her best to just kind of fight this out. And, you have it on the other side with Evan too.
Mm-hmm.
Evan is trying to kind of fight his way back too. He's kicking and screaming and scratching and clawing to get out of the hospital. And, he's getting not kind of angry and lippy with Pete, all of that. And his therapist too. I mean, he wants to be like legal and go in and just, solve this and fix everything. And he's still stuck in that hospital bed. And
I like how Pete kind of came in and said, I have a few things to tell you. And he just named them off. Like, tell your dad, tell John, thank you for all the help.
Shout out to John Blackwell, our mystery man, our international man of mystery, doing, God knows where, but shout out to him. And he and Pete also, his condolences for Damien, everything like that. Them trying to play catch up. You don't really see, like, they haven't interacted. They like those two interact, but they haven't interacted all that much. It was kind of a treat seeing the two of them have those scenes together.
Well, because it's almost like I honestly feel like Evan is a little jealous of Pete because Pete goes out on the adventures where Evan is the DA, so he has to go
that's true.
Because Pete's more like John than Evan is.
Oh yeah.
So we saw that Pete and John teamed up together for a couple of different things, and they're still kind of on the same page and whatever.
Evan got a taste of it in Belgium, helping Tam out and doing all of that stuff. And, he kind of wants to kick back into that gear. And he really can't. He's kind of hamstrung by the fact that he's, the DA and has to, wrestle with all of that. But his conversation though with Pete, I appreciated how like they're both after the same thing. And, they're both and they both realize that. And they realize that quickly. It's not like they had to have just like this scene where they're just like jawing at each other and just like, no, it's like, okay, we're both smart dudes. We get it. We both need to like, put our feelings aside and get this guy once and for all. And I like how, again, just how swiftly they came to that conclusion. They didn't drag it out. They didn't like, have them just being all like combative and everything.
They're basically like, let's just take down this motherfucker and get him out.
Yeah. And they have a good chemistry. It's kind of like antagonists and rivals and everything. But at the end of the day, I'd like to see the two of them kind of in like a buddy cop sort of moment, going and taking down Adam and that whole bit. That'd be, for some good scenes. If only for the reason that it's two lovely looking gentlemen teaming up to take down the bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All good things.
Oh yeah. All right. Before we get on to the next storyline, we're going to give you a quick word on how you can get your hands on some great WWE merchandise.
Ladies and gentlemen, Suds and Squared Circle Media is an official affiliate of WWE Shop. If you want to buy stuff for the new AAA Mega Champion and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio, or the classic Stone Cold Steve Austin with his Austin 316 merchandise, or merch for Raw is War, SmackDown, or any other WWE show, just go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code for our affiliate link. You can either go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code on the screen, and you'll be taken to WWE Shop using our affiliate link. And anything you buy using our affiliate link, we earn commission.
All right, so check out the WWE shop with all of the new WrestleMania gear, and use that QR code to help get us some commission at being affiliates. All right, so the last thing I kind of want to go over is Sophia and Sara.
Yeah.
Kind of Sophia kind of going over what Sara went through while she was, as she said, in between.
Yeah, giving her a bit of a recap as to what went down, because we had the kind of take the crystal that Sophia had brought her, so that kind of triggered that and brought about their discussion, and you could see Sarah's a little skeptical, heard me, you saw me unconscious, what's going on here? Where was I? It's understandable you'd have questions like that when a woman comes in and says oh yeah, I saw you in an in-between space having a discussion with your dead ex.
Right. That's a little weird. Yep.
But yeah, no, such good scenes though. Mary, between Mary Beth Evans and Jackie, it's just, two soap vets, two greats. And you could see Sara was kind of skeptical, but then starting to kind of take everything to heart and looking almost kind of like a freaked out puppy dog a little bit. She had this look.
I would say a little bit freaked out.
A little wait, what? Especially when Red was brought up too.
Yeah.
It's kind of starting to just kind of get that, and the mentions of Lee and Lex and, past relationship, almost giving a blessing to the future relationship, that whole bit. I mean, it sparked a lot of stuff for her. But, and then of course, you have that kind of, not tension, but you have that kind of, Lex and Lee conversation. And then Lex walks right in and he's like, what's with all the tension?
Yeah.
Kind of interrupts it, but in his adorable Tristan Rogers charming way.
Oh yeah. No, it's really kind of bittersweet seeing Jackie Zeman and Tristan Rogers both, in these scenes, over the past few episodes, knowing that they're both gone at this point.
Yeah. It's a treat though to be able to, bittersweet definitely, because at least, we get to see them getting parts that are, and lines and dialogue and, it's worthy of their, soap greatness.
Yeah.
All those vets, that's what I love. I don't know, lately I've seen just kind of on days in particular, I can't speak for GH, but on days I just feel like some of our vets are just not really getting the writing level that they have earned. And
on GH, it's kind of like I'm very mixed when it comes to stuff like that, because I'm all about creating the new generation of characters. We see Sonny Corinthos, even though he's a mob boss, the mobster with a heart of gold, he's kind of more relegated to that grandfatherly role and stuff. So, but then you get Jeannie Francis, who's on contract, but she's also in and out every so often.
Yeah.
But I feel like getting the newer characters up there, even though you need to have a space for the veterans.
I mean, I feel like not so much as for instance, you have Steve, who's still running Black Patch, and it's a little unrealistic at this point. That should have been handed down maybe to, I don't know, John X or Joey or the kids. Steve should not be out in the field, drawing his weapon on people still. I mean, I love the man, but come on, let him, kind of. But there are scenes, not so much with storylines, but just for instance, we have this character, we have Stephanie involved in this kind of major storyline, and I just feel like the writing for Steve and Kayla kind of in the aftermath of this, it's there should be more character driven, sort of like what we see with the Bay, where there's those sit down scenes that are just kind of character driven, and you kind of unpack, big things that have happened, big events, things like that, and just kind of let the characters live in that moment for a little while. Mm-hmm. I feel like Days is just jumping from plot to plot to plot, and the writing is kind of suffering in that we don't get a scene with Stephanie talking about her trauma with her parents. Instead, we get just kind of weird, random, it's they don't get a chance to interact. Whereas on the Bay, I just see such contrast because it's like you've got all like these family threads that are getting introduced, but it feels very natural and it feels very the writing just it feels very seamless. And then I feel like with Days it's clunky and you're not giving like you know these vets. It's like come on, this is like a super couple and their daughter, and they're not getting any meaningful interaction following this crazy dramatic thing that just happened to the daughter. It's just like not. I just see such a contrast when I watch The Bay versus when I watch Days lately.
Yeah.
And I just, especially with just like the way that some of like these characters are just, we're not seeing that character driven writing as much as I would like to.
Well,
and Bay manages to find a great balance, whereas I feel like Days is just kind of languishing with it right now. That's just my opinion, but
I could agree with you, and that's kind of like why I call The Bay the ECW of the soap opera world, because ECW, when Paul Heyman was running ECW, he did a lot with a little, which is exactly what Gregory Martin does with the with the Bay, because they have a smaller.
It makes the most of every moment, and you have these like incredible actors who are given like just like meaty storylines, but they're given like the family. It's got everything like more condensed and more potent because
because they do have a smaller cast.
Exactly, and maybe that's part of it, but it's just I don't know. I just feel like Days could definitely they're coming up short in that aspect right now, and it just kind of it's nice to have a soap that I'm watching in real time too, because like currently I haven't seen any of I'm watching this similar to when we started. I'm watching all of this with fresh eyes.
Exactly.
And you see just such a contrast with the writing. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, no, I mean there's reasons for it. I mean one is a web.
Oh yeah.
I mean they're both technically web soaps, but Days doesn't. I think the biggest problem is like when Days went to Peacock full time, they had the opportunity to kind of make their product a little edgier to try to draw in younger viewers. It never happened. Like when One Life to Live and All My Children went to Prospect Park and the Soap Network and it was on Hulu all the time, and it was very much ahead of its time. Don't get me wrong.
Definitely. Too ahead of it. That's
they
why
went a little too far by pushing the envelope. Like they were swearing just to swear, and I know their core audience was getting upset because it was so much different and a much bigger skew from the original. I feel like Days they needed to do something to make that big splash. Instead, like when they did Beyond Salem, it was great. It was a little bit more action
because they were drawing in. They drew in Bo and Hope fans. I mean, that's huge. Like, you got this like really. I mean, even before like I became a Days fan, like really late in the game. It's fairly recent, but even I knew who Bo and Hope were. It's like they were one of those couples. So for Beyond Salem to just really lean into that narrative. Give us those flashbacks. Give us that couple. Show that, just play up that history. That is so, and just keeping like that, and in keeping that legacy intact and keeping like that family, that history, those Days needs to embrace that further. It's like, embrace the history rather than trying to create a splash with something, like you said, making it more edgy, making it more, no, you have a formula there. But if you've got your legacy kind of characters and you whittle the cast, you have a bloated cast, but it's just like, you need like those, like the in-between folks. You have the vets, you have the kids, but you got to have that core generation. And I feel like they just kind of whittled away at those folks and we're not seeing that as represented. So people are clinging to the vets and casting aside the kids and you got to have that middle core, and I feel like Days just doesn't really. They're not supporting that right now. They're not supporting couples that could become the next Bo and Hope. They're not giving us, those super, or they're cutting them off at the knees, like they're recasting or they're bringing, and it's like that. That's you got your history with like all of these super couples that were like reigning supreme for a long time. And they're still there. God bless them. Some of them can make appearances here and there, but you can't just rely on that. You need to build up the other sort of in between couples, and
Yeah.
we aren't seeing that right now. Whereas on
Or
the Bay, it's like they can embrace that. They have the opportunity to just kind of lean into like the, core couples that they've got. And, they know who has chemistry with who, and they play that up. And it's just, there's such a contrast. And I'm sorry I'm going on and on, but it's just, it's becoming increasingly relevant now that I've been watching episodes that I haven't seen just yet.
no, and I understand that, because it's kind of why I stopped watching everything but GH. I mean, GH, and don't get me wrong, there have been times where GH was in a lull. It happens. It happens.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're writing 5 episodes. You're watching 5 episodes a week for 52
It's going to have ups and downs. It's not going to be perfect every, but it's just a pattern that I've noticed, and it's something that's just, I feel like
by Dave's axing Carson Boatman and Raven Bowens, it really solidified the fact that they're not paying attention to that 20-something, 30-something young adult.
Or even you've got a couple, Xander and Sara, who, good, bad guy, good girl, okay, you've got like a combination there. You've got chemistry through the roof between these two actors, but you have them stuck in this weird holding pattern where it's like Sarah's just antagonistic and Xander can do no right by her in any aspect. And it's just like, this isn't conducive to, nobody wants to see this. Like, angst is one thing, but it just feels repetitive, and it just feels like, why are you playing with something when you've got that chemistry there? Like, there's different ways to show tension besides the same, rinse and repeat. Oh, he did something bad, I can't be around him anymore. It's like, like these couples that, have the potential to be like, the super couples. It just feels like, and I can't say enough about, with Carson Boatman and losing Chanel and losing, that whole, just gutting that crew. It's like, why? You had chemistry there. Or you even see like, actors who come in like this guy playing Jeremy. He's got chemistry with Stephanie like through the roof. We saw it clear in those scenes. Come to find out that the character's probably going to get cycled out a year from now. When the filming catches up. Oh my gosh, I'm just going off on a tear. I can go on for days about days, and sometimes it's not good. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's quite all right. Get your feelings out. I mean, it's always good to compare and contrast the Bay to other films.
I guess it's just, and I know obviously the formulas are so different, and the filming is so different, and the budgets and the networks and everything about it. But it's just, it speaks to the quality of the writing too, and the attention that is given to the Bay in terms of like, I mean, they know how to nail it. They know how to just, keep you wanting more, and, bringing in these characters. It's like, bombarding you with new characters. I mean, that can get like old. It's like, oh, wait, who's this random person? And how come I'm not seeing so-and-so anymore? But they do it in such a seamless way that you're drawn to them and you want to see more of them, even though they're brand new faces on the screen. And it's like, oh, well, Steve is like, Steve Jensen. It's like, he might be like, off for good now. We aren't entirely sure, but it's like they build in other characters to kind of support the, we have a balance. You can lose a big prominent bad guy and still have other bad guys step into the fold that are equally just, and you want to see how it's going to shake out. Yeah. So.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. But I feel like at this point in time, we are kind of rambling about stuff other than the Bay. So I do feel like everything is, I feel like your comparisons are great, because it really does show what Gregory Martin has done with the Bay. Now, Gregory Martin did work as well, when we interviewed him, he did say he worked on other episodes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
so,
he's on GH. He wrote for GH, definitely. I remember him noting that, which super cool.
But the fact is that he's learned from what the current soaps do, and he went in a completely different route. I mean, just the fact that he started on, whatever it was, Vine, with the first episodes of the Bay as just
Vine throwback.
Short, just shorts. I mean, that's what it was. And then they did re-edit it, and now it's actually a full-fledged show, web series. Mm-hmm. He did something that he basically evolved the genre. Like, Days Days of Our Lives should have almost taken a page out of the Bay's books.
Yeah,
when
capitalized on the move to
possible time.
Peacock by doing something that was a little bit more
Yes.
in line with, trying to
And again,
pull
you
in
don't
a bit of
want
a Prospect Park and just kind of, we've got these characters, we've got this core, we've got this cast. Now let's move them someplace and switch the product up in such a way that it'll like bring in
Yeah.
old and new. And they did capture it with Beyond Salem, I feel
Right.
like.
I feel like if they I don't want to say restarted per se, but if they took Beyond Salem Chapter 2 and kind of used that as the kicking off point for Days of Our Lives on Peacock and literally promoted it as, just a brand new storytelling device, and you didn't have to get rid of anybody or stop the current storylines, but
just pivoted in a different direction that
yes.
makes it, just draws in different audiences, draws in younger set, draws in my generation that's like, so sought after.
But it's almost like Beyond Salem, the two Beyond Salem scenes are like off canon. Like they don't fit into any storyline. Like and maybe because I'm partial to Steve Burton coming in, but when they brought him in as Harris, for Beyond Salem Part 2, and then coming over to Days, I felt like they could have incorporated a lot of that newer writing and the newer stuff into Days of Our Lives. And, and honestly,
choices were made, though, that just didn't really support. And now I just feel like, it's kind of languishing, whereas the Bay took a risk. And now, it's thriving. It's still doing, still out there churning out episodes. And you got actors that are just like so invested. And it's just such a contrast. And I, wildly different. But I have to say, it's just nice having, new soap in a way too. Because like I said, I haven't, I'm watching these episodes in somewhat real time. Haven't been, and I refuse to get spoiled. I don't watch the what's ahead if I can help it.
I do, and what's ahead is pretty cool.
Well, that's good to know. I'll take your word for it.
All right. Well, Kim, where can everybody find you on social media?
So I am Misfit8690 on Twitter, and I am a Little Misfit52 on YouTube. So feel free to follow me there for a discussion about soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
And as always, I am on Facebook and Twitter at Vinnie Suds. At Suds Media is our X account for the network. That's usually where I post from, especially about all programming notes regarding Suds and Sports Circle Media. For Suds and Sports Circle Media, we're also on Facebook. So go over there and give us a follow there. We do a lot of our programming notes there as well. For Instagram and Threads, it's Suds and Squared Circle. For TikTok and Twitch, it's Suds_media. But for everything, especially all of our sponsors, all of our affiliate links, and everything else for Suds and Sports Media, go to our Linktree, which is linktree.suds-media.com. And to get to our YouTube channel, it's suds-media.com. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to the network. We're at 854 subscribers. We're on the march to 1,000. So get us to 1,000 because every little bit counts. So definitely hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bells for our network, and we will have a lot more content going up. I do want to just say one more thing. For those of you, obviously, that are wrestling fans that know I'm a wrestling fan, Netflix just released a four-part docuseries about Hulk Hogan, including the last interview ever given before his passing in July of last year. I am currently watching it. I've watched the first and most of the second episode. Once I get done with all four, I will do a special report, just how I feel the documentary was and how it went with Netflix doing it. As of right now, it's not a hit piece. It's actually really, really good. I'm really enjoying it, and I really feel like it is very truthful. It is done in cooperation with the WWE, so you do get a lot of footage and a lot of the current WWE stars that are on it as well. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing. We do appreciate that. So for Kim, I'm Vinnie. We will see you next week as we go dockside at the Bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everyone.